The Houston Texans are the only team in the NFL right now with still a vacant opening for their head coach. They're setting up second interviews with Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, Ravens assistant head coach David Culley. Those are the two we know about. They've already spoken twice with Jim Caldwell. They also have spoken over Zoom, I believe, twice now with Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator. Now, everyone wants the Chiefs OC, Eric Bieniemy, to get this job. I would say this to Eric Bieniemy. Turn it down if you get it offered. Seriously, if you're offered this job, turn it down. At this point, if you're Eric Bieniemy, you've interviewed for head coaching jobs over the last 3 years. Is this really the job you want if it's offered to you? When there's so much uncertainty at quarterback with Deshaun Watson? You had a report from Schefter and Mortensen of ESPN over the weekend that regardless of who the head coach is, Deshaun Watson is still going to ask out. Is this really a situation you want to deal with if you're Eric Bieniemy? You might only get one chance at being a head coach. Do you really want to take this job if it's offered? I get it. It's one of 32. It's an NFL head coaching job. But if you're Eric Bieniemy and you continue to interview for jobs each and every year, do you really want this job? I mean, you'll get a chance to interview for jobs again next year. There's at least 6 or 7 openings every year. Why this job? Unless you have a verbal guarantee from Deshaun Watson that he's staying, that he's not going to make things difficult for the organization, why take the job if you're Bieniemy? When Jack Easterby still might meddle, when Cal McNair still might be incompetent, why take that job if it's offered? And I don't think he's going to get offered the job, full disclosure. I think they're going to hire Leslie Frazier. That's some of the things I keep hearing from people in the know, that they like Frazier. But if you're Bieniemy and you're still the hotshot coaching candidate, why take the Texans job if it's offered to you when you can go back to Kansas City, try and maybe go for a three-peat and winning another Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and be the top guy on the market next year? You'll get every interview. Every team will put in a request to speak with you. That's what happened this past year. Although it took the Texans a little bit to actually do that, but they finally did. Right? If you're Bieniemy, be like Robert Saleh this past year. Be the number one coaching guy on the market. There'll be at least 6 openings next year. Go to a team that has a better quarterback situation. Now, if you guarantee me that Deshaun Watson's playing quarterback for the Texans, then all right, that's a different conversation. But if we're to believe the reports that Watson's going to ask out regardless of who the coach is, including if it's Bieniemy, who Watson reportedly wanted Houston to talk with, then why take this job if you get it offered? Go for a three-peat with Mahomes. It's not like your I would say draft stock, but it's like coaching stock here. It's not like your coaching stock is going to go down. Right? The San Francisco 49ers went 6-10 this past year. It didn't affect Robert Saleh as far as his demand on the coaching market. The defense still played well. He battled. He was still a hot in-demand candidate, and he got hired by the Jets. Why work for Jack Easterby or Cal McNair if you have no insurance that you're going to have your quarterback? If you have Deshaun Watson, you take the job because it's a gig with a top 5 quarterback. I think that's a no-brainer. But I'm operating now like that's not going to happen. So if I'm Eric Bieniemy, the advice I'd give him is turn down the Texans job if it's offered to you. Go and be the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs for another year. Go win 15 games next year. Go back to the Super Bowl. Maybe win the Super Bowl. And be the top guy again next year. And interview for another 6 openings and see if there's a job that makes sense. That has maybe, a lot of draft picks, cap space, or you inherit a franchise quarterback. I mean, you look at the Texans coaching search. Doesn't it tell you something that the 2 finalists besides Bieniemy are, Leslie Frazier and Jim Caldwell? Like Leslie Frazier, nice guy, did a good job with the Bills, but doesn't exactly inspire your fan base if you hire him. Jim Caldwell, I mean, if he's not coaching the Texans, he's not even going to be in the NFL. What does that tell you? I think Bieniemy could do better than the Texans. There's too much uncertainty with that organization right now. There's too much uncertainty specifically with number 4. I think he should avoid the job if it's offered to him. Now, I understand the pushback would be, Jake, this guy has not been hired anywhere. This could be the job of all jobs. And every coach has a big ego, and they think that they're going to be the ones that could turn any organization around. I get that. But I think so much about being a successful coach in the NFL is who's your GM, who's your owner, who's your quarterback. And when your GM might be compromised by a character coach, pastor guy, and Jack Easterby, and your owner is referred to by people in the building as Tommy Boy, and your quarterback might want out, I don't know. If I'm Eric Bieniemy, I might just say, you know what, I'm good. I'm gonna wait another year. I'll go coach Patrick Mahomes for another year. Probably a lot less stressful than having to be, dealing with the issues that are currently plaguing the Houston Texans right now. So, EB, I know you listen to this show every morning. You're a big listener to Sports Map Radio in general. I would avoid the Texans. They offer you the job. Say, thanks, but no thanks.